So as well as collecting objects from the past that help us to tell the story of photography, one of the things it's really important we do is to tell photography from the contemporary period as well. Given that our collection is an analogue collection, we're especially interested in photographers who work in analogue processes even now, or maybe they splice digital and analogue processes together. So for example, Simon Norfolk is a contemporary photographer. He took war photographs in Afghanistan during the period of 2003. And this is a collection that was pulled together and it's called Chronotopia. Simon spent his youth in the Manchester area, so we were keen to acquire material relating to his work in his own right because he has Manchester connections. But also the person that created the book is Dowie Lewis, and Dowie Lewis is based in Stockport, and he has a fantastic publication record where he publishes photographers from all over the world. So both of those reasons made it a really good choice for us to acquire this specific object. And what you have here is a photographer that's using digital photography to capture his images, but he's also then transforming them into analogue format through the idea of a book. Another photographer who is doing something similar is a man called Mike Ware. So Mike Ware is an expert in different kinds of early photo processes. And one of the photo processes he is especially expert in is a kind of photograph known as a cyanotype. So this is an example of a cyanotype. It's a blueprint, and many of us will know what blueprints are from looking at engineering drawings, and those are a photographic process. Mike Ware, as well as being a photographer, is a chemist, and he was a lecturer at Manchester University for many years. So we see the acquisition of these photographs as being part of the history of the University of Manchester. And we're very keen to have cyanotypes because they contribute to the breadth of the collection that we have to demonstrate different photo processes so that people in the future will be able to kind of see how these photographs were made. And this is really important when we're working with students from the university and we're doing teaching sessions down here using the collections, that we're able to capture material that will explain how these things came to be made. And that feeds into the work that we do with other audiences too. Another of the example here is this wonderful cyanotype of a leaf, and here you've got Mike Ware referring back to a wonderful 19th century photographer called Anna Atkins, who made wonderful botanical images like this one. Once you open the card, because that's what it is, it's not just a photograph, it's also a card, you'll see inside that it's been sent to somebody called Margaret. And Margaret Harker is a really important person in the history of photography. She was the first woman to be the president of the Royal Photographic Society, and she died in 2013 at the age of 93, and her contribution to photography was really important. So there are lots of reasons why we would want to acquire these specific things. And when we're thinking about what we're going to acquire, we have to take all of those kinds of things into consideration. And the reason why we need to do that is because once this becomes part of our collection, it's here forever. So it's really got to be able to earn its keep, not just now with our users, whether they be, in exhibitions, whether we're using them for research to support the work we do with research, or whether we're doing work with students. We're not just thinking about people using these things in the present, we're thinking about how people are going to use them in the future. So the acquisitions that we make now that relate to our contemporary culture are almost like a gift that we offer to the future.